Hands up. Hands up. Hands up. Hands up. Hands.
Hi, this is Alex and welcome to Awesome People Project. Today we are in Delhi meeting teacher Shalu, who works with kids in impoverished area to help them get education, to help them learn English and basic skills, because some of those kids don't get to go to school. Here in Delhi, India, there are many informal settlement areas, also known as slums. The reason many kids who live there don't get to go to school is either lack of documents or distance from the government schools. I spent a day with teacher Shalu, who is a private educator, but in her free time, she volunteers to help educate street kids in Delhi to hopefully break that cycle of poverty. When her car pulls up, a dozen of kids surround it to help grab school supplies and set up her little roadside classroom along a busy street. Teacher Shalu tries to come and teach them at least 3 days a week. After her daily lesson, we got a chance to talk about how this all started, her personal mission, and her inspiring story.
And this every time I come over here, this is an every time affair. No matter how hot or how cold it may be. This is the reception that I get, and this is the see-off that I get.
For the kids here, you know, there's not many things that are fun necessarily, because it's, you know, just kind of industrial area and not a lot of parks and not a lot of places.
Absolutely, that's the sad part. So that is why I want to. They do have this kind of a park, but then of course I discourage the little ones from coming to this kind of a, because they have to cross the busy road, which is full of traffic. See, these children have loads of time on them because they're not going to school, there's no homework, they're not preparing for any tests or exams. Yes, I try to do as much as I can, that is there, but despite that, they still have a lot of time left on them. And that time they utilize, there are all sorts of elements in that slum area. There are older kids who are into gambling or probably into some kind of drugs or,
drinking,
alcoholism, drinking, whatever. So I want the kids to stay away from those kind of elements, and if I give them, let's say, sports equipment, if they have something to play with, then they know how to make better utilization of their time. That's why.
And then I feel like also part of the problem there too is some of them know how to experience hunger too, right?
Absolutely, that is another big thing. When their parents are out, usually, in fact, all of them have both their parents working, so they don't have anybody to cook for them, especially the afternoon meals. And poor kids, either they go hungry or they get 5 rupees or 10 rupees, or they come out looking for somebody who's giving out food, and either they manage that. There are kids who are going to school, they get midday meals, which is good. Those that do not go to school, it's a challenge for them to arrange the afternoon meal, especially.
So you said you had some kids that don't go to school, but they don't have documents. How hard is it to get documents to get them to school?
The major difficulty is the school authorities not being able to communicate in simpler terms to the parents what all is required. And how to get, if they do not have those documents, how to get them. And then some of these, as I said, that most of the parents, most of these people from here are from villages outside Delhi, so their documents are in their village. So it's a challenge to go. There's a time frame within which they should apply in the schools, and it's a challenge for the parents to go all the way back to the village to get those documents and get them submitted here, because obviously for them they're daily wage laborers, and so they're losing money. They're losing their
very
meals.
low income, and
yes.
For them to go take a day off and then pay for the buses and all this
gets
other
very
stuff.
difficult.
Yeah, and many of them probably don't even speak English or Hindu, they can't write or read.
The parents themselves are illiterate, so that is why it gets difficult for them to even understand what kind of documents are being required. So that is again another problem. That is the reason why most of these kids are overage and have not yet even started elementary school.
It seems like, just spending time with them, there's so many smart kids that are just eager to learn. They just,
all of them are so eager to learn, I cannot tell you.
They're I think for any teacher that would be find
It's so welcoming.
yes, finding students that actually want to learn and not like
Yes.
skip classes.
Yes.
It's
So
amazing.
satisfying as a teacher. It is so satisfying because I see the hunger in these kids, in these children. All of them, they're so hungry for knowledge. They're so hungry to become literate, to be able to write. And writing an English alphabet is a huge achievement for them. Many of them have, and they're so smart. I'm talking about many of these kids who, over a period of just a couple of months, have not only just learned the phonetics in English, which is like, and how to write the capital letters, the small letters, the numbers. Now they're even making words. So they're able to read words, and they're even learning how to communicate in English at the elementary stage. But yes, they're making headway step by step.
So you come there twice a week or
No,
3 times a week?
definitely 3 times a week, minimum 3 times a week. Sometimes it's more. इन्होंने पिया हुआ है? इनको ले जाओ ना, please. I think that we as a society, all of us, those who, especially the ones who are educated, have a responsibility towards these children. And children are not poor or rich. Children are children, and they have the right to have equal opportunities in life. So this is what has always my heart used to bleed when I used to see these children coming up to me, begging for alms. Okay, what is this? क्या है ये? Car? It's a small thing that I'm doing. What I'm saying is that there are too many people out there in their homes do not know what to do, whether it's the college students who have off for a couple of weeks, or otherwise students also, the mothers who are homemakers. There are plenty of people out there. All that is required is perhaps just 2 hours max a week, twice or thrice a week, for them to start this kind of a project wherever they are around them, no matter whether there are 2 kids or 5 kids or 10 or whatever. But everybody, each one of us, who's fortunate enough to be literate, has something to give. Let's give. It's for free.
And
Let's
those
give.
kids, if you uplift those kids from poverty, maybe the next generation, you don't know if one of those kids will be the one to cure cancer or something.
Absolutely. There's so much of potential.
Yeah, their potential.
More than anything, I also feel that, like I said earlier too, I always say that the society is going to be a much safer place. It's going to be a much safer place if we educate these kids. These are our future. And, if they are educated, we have a much safer society to live in. I did my honors in mathematics. I graduated from Delhi University. And then I was studying to become an MCA.
And what is MCA? Because I
Masters in Computer Application.
Awesome.
So, but then I left it in between. I have a younger brother, and who, because of certain ailments and all, struggled through school for a couple of years. And I, being the older one, was given the responsibility to teach him. And probably that was my first experience into teaching. And then I took it forward because I realized that I've always loved to be with children. And I'm able to develop a rapport with them. And then one fine day, while I was in the middle of MCA, I realized, no, it's not going to make me happy. I mean, I'm not going to be leading a happy life doing that kind of stuff. So I decided to switch over, and I said my calling is with the kids and into this profession. So I changed this profession. So this was through a friend that I heard about an NGO who was working with certain children that side during COVID times. And as I was talking to you in the car, COVID actually gave everybody, perhaps, and me too, yes, a pause and to and time to introspect. And then I realized that I had to do something beyond just leading my life, earning my livelihood, because that would get so monotonous. I didn't want to die thinking, what did I do? I mean, look back and say, what did I do? Oh, I just earned money. That's it. Yeah. So I did not want to do that.
I think it's a lot of us want to leave a legacy or have our life matter, and I think that's you can do that by helping those kids.
See, with those children, I see, if you venture through the colony, you would have seen. So there are the dwellings are very, very tiny. They're one-room dwellings, and the entire family housed in in one small room. So space is definitely an issue. So most of the times the children are out of the rooms, out of, I wouldn't even call them.
It gets hot in there.
It gets hot in there, and then you do need space. So the children are out, and you will always find the children hanging around, outside their homes, in the streets, or towards where we were. So they're always around there, and with nothing to do. Practically nothing to do. There is a long wait. Those who are going to school, good, they have a schedule. Those who do not go to school do not have a schedule, no discipline. And there's a long wait for the parents to make the next meal. So many of them even go hungry during the afternoon lunches because there's nobody to cook for them. And such a waste of their important years.
And see, the other thing that I've seen is you see some of the older siblings carrying like their younger siblings.
Did you see that? Yes.
Yeah, they become their mother because their parents are.
A 4-year-old actually takes care of a 1-year-old over there.
Yeah, they grow up fast there.
They grow very fast.
A lot of.
They're extremely responsible.
Yes.
They are so responsible that it will put any adult to shame. They'll constantly ask me if I'm teaching them, and if their younger sibling has gone to school or is to be fetched from somewhere, the child will keep asking me what time it is, and would want to be there way before the time that he's required to be. They're so responsible.
You don't only teach math and English, right?
No, not just that.
What else do you kind of cover with them?
Well, we talk about ethics. We talk about morals. We learn with each passing day how we were yesterday and how we can improve our tomorrow. I also tell them inspiring stories of people who had similar backgrounds as theirs, how they achieved and realized their dreams. So those kind of things. So there's a lot that goes over there during the day. Sit down, stand up. I was sitting amongst these friends of mine, and when they came to know that I've actually started to go to such an area and I'm teaching the children, one very concerned friend of mine put in the word in my ear and said, teach them some skill. Make sure that they have some skill so that they can earn their livelihood. And I looked back and I looked at her, and somehow I was pretty upset, and I said, why should I think that these children are unworthy or these children should not have those dreams? They have the right to the same good standard of education as any other child with more fortunate circumstances. So why shouldn't these children, if I'm going over there, all the way over there, I'm not going there to just turn them into tailors. I mean, imagine, like I said yesterday, I mean, what kind of a happy happy life would this child be leading if he was supposed to be a mathematician probably, or a doctor, and had it in him, or a painter, and I turned him into probably a tailor or a plumber, or why?
Yeah, exactly.
Why really? बीच बीच में से फिर खड़ा करके पूछ लूँगी, है ना?
So if you want to connect, if you want to help, the Instagram will be down below and down in the description, hopefully.
Yes.
Here, because we're working on that right now. Mm-hmm. And then if you want to come and volunteer, you would take some volunteers.
Oh,
right?
I'd love to. I mean, it'll be such a good thing for these children. These children are ready to study for at least 10 hours a day. I'm sure. Yeah, the way they are.
They just want to study.
They just want to study. They will not want to let the teacher go.
Yeah.
And yes, volunteers most welcome. Anybody has anything to give, not just in kind, but any skill that you can teach. If you're a dancer, if you are a painter, if you are a sports person, if anybody could, you can come to this place and just impart them what you have.
And those kids will love that.
They'd love it.
They just were.
They will not disappoint.
So
you will not have to pull your students.
And
they won't do that. They'll be.
Anybody that comes and volunteers will get way more out of it than they actually put in, because those kids will give it back like tenfold. They're amazing.
They will. They
are. So at the very least, if you can follow Instagram, that we're going to work on, and if you want to reach out, you'd be very happy to do that.
I'd love to, yes.
And finally, if you want to do something like that in your area, they can probably also reach out to you for some advice.
Sure, please.
'Cause
Whatever
you'd be-
experience, whatever little experience I have, I'd love to
Yeah.
share with you too. Whoever wants to start this, and we all should do it in our respective areas. We just spending about an hour and a half, 2 hours, probably twice or thrice a week, is also sufficient. So one should do that. Make it, we should make our life worthwhile.
And
Make
I
it count.
think the best thing that we can end this with is, when we first started talking, you talked about how you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for you,
For
right?
myself.
So if you want to explain, because I think that's a very good philosophy to think about if somebody wants to start something in your area or volunteer with a local organization like similar to this, if it's in a different country. But if you want to describe what you said, why you're doing it for yourself.
Oh, I'm very selfish. I want to have a good night's sleep, and I want to feel that if this is the last night of my life, then I want to look back at my day and say I made good out of this day that God gifted me. So that is what it is about, and
those kids will be the part of your community. I mean,
Exactly.
regardless whether you want it or not, they will grow up and be in your community.
exactly, and they make our community, they make our society a safer place. All of us will be way safer if we have a whole lot of educated generation around us.
Exactly. So if you decide not to make an impact on those kids, they will grow up as adults that will be begging or doing some other stuff.
Absolutely.
So investing a little
Perhaps
bit of time.
lost in life somewhere and
Exactly.
hooked onto something bad that they shouldn't have. So that is why just give them hope today, so that you feel safer, your children feel safer, in the times to come.
Yep. And so thank you so much, and I hope you do follow teacher Shalu and reach out, and she will be very happy to talk to you. So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you. बेटा पीछे से आ जाओ, पीछे से आ जाओ.